Okay, so on to part 2 here. I think the first thing I want to do is clean up some of our UI and so forth. Like we have that, and that, you know, works and stuff, but obviously it needs some tweaking, right? Like you could probably bring that down, you know, say roughly about 7. We'll fix that first. And then what else do we want? So we have these. If we click on that, we get this up. This has got to go away. So let's do that portion. UI control. So we start logic, we go here. We do all that fun stuff. Okay, so we're here. So we've clicked a button. We're testing to see if we have a slot. We create our player. We do our pun window, and we have this. Join random room. Oh no, we go here. We wait for that click. So in these states, okay, we want a join room. What else do we want? Let's figure that out too, right? Like if we come here, we have join random. Let's have a maybe a create game. And if that's the case, then we probably also need a input field of some type. Let's move all this over. And what else do we need? I think that's probably about it. Create and join random. I guess the other one we could also use is, let's actually put this one here and move this one down here. And let's take this guy and be like, join game. All right, so one of the things I like to do on these style things, if we have like a create and join and we have an input field that kind of goes with it, I'm going to just rename these real quick. So that's create game input, and this will be the join game input, and that's the join game, and we have join random. Okay, so one thing I like to do on the inputs is put a little bit of logic on each input. So for example, let's say get input as text. So from the owner, we're going to get our text every frame. We also want to get string length of that same text, and we'll call that the L, and we want to int compare the L, and if it's greater, then we'll say 3. If it's greater than 3, we're going to say it's usable. The other thing is set interactive. So we want to set, and I could just select it, but I think I'm going to use a variable for this, and you'll see why in a second. Is a button, so it's going to be false. Button, I want this to go in the input real quick. And copy all that, paste it here. So if it's usable, we come here. Now over here, it's true. And now if it's less than 3, it's not usable. There we go. So now I can take this logic and I can say your create game button input, you go to this button. And I can copy that input and say stick it on this guy. And say, well, you're for the join game, you can go to this button. All right, so let's close that. And let's go into here. Now, so we have essentially, if we're here and we click a button, what buttons are we clicking on? The created buttons from here. So if we click on that, on either one, we need to disable that. So let's set active. Activate the slot holder, tell it to be deactive, put it above the bool test, or else it will not work. Oh, I messed that one up. Paste before. All right, so we're going to deactivate that. And if we follow the line, we are going to create it and we're going to load. And then we're going to sit here. And we're going to wait for a button click saying join random. So the other thing we want was I'm going to change that to a button array actually. But I will fix that up in a second. So the other thing is we have the create our player. And we have a custom window that opens. So we get the name and the button, and we get the slider stuff. That all changes. And when we set done, we go back over and start pretty much all over again. So that's fine. That one should be working fine. So it's this one here. All right, I don't want to use the join or this button click. I want to do something a little better than that. But we have the pun window activated. So this is pretty universal, right? Because that means we don't need it here. Like, really, do we need the state doing the exact same thing? No. And we don't need the button that. We want a button array because we have 3 buttons. Right. We have essentially we have a create game. We have a join random. And we have a join game. So we have create game. We'll do the events. Join random and join game. Move this above there. Let's get rid of the done event. And we have create game, join random, join game. So if we're going to join random, we could do that. There's another step we got to add in, but we'll do that after. And if we create a game, then we need to create room. And we need to get input field text. So now with this one, I'll just choose create game input right there. So we'll just call that text. Room name. So now the room name is going to be room name. Alright, so we get it, we create it, and we call it good. Join random is just filling room, and joining game is join room. Now if you want to create if it doesn't exist, you can use that. That's fine, totally normal. I think I'm not going to, just for something different. So we want join room, and the room name we're looking for is room name now. Okay. So what we want is an event here to catch some of this stuff if it fails. And it's going to come right back to here. So what that'll do is in here we have join room and all that fun stuff. So we want some other stuff. We want some unjoined room. We're going to want photon. Unjoined room failed. And I think that's probably it. Because this one will go with the create and the join. But this one happens if we've failed. So if we failed, let's send an event to our little canvas here that we have failed. We're just relaying that information back and forth. All right, let's close that, save that, and you know what we should do? And bring one of these in. These are all my new thumbnails I'm making for my YouTube. Playing. If you notice, there's a whole bunch of different things happening on there. I'm trying to update things. So, you know, oh, did I not bring it in? I think I put it in my. There we go. Let's bring this in. I'll stick it there for now, just so I find it. There we go. So let's go and put that in here. It's not going to take it. Remove that. Add a raw image, or I can convert this thing to a sprite or something. There, now it looks a little better, a little brighter, not just black with some ugly buttons. We'll save that. Now let's hit play. And I ended up just rebooting Unity. I don't know what happened there. So, all right, so we'll, I think I'll restart that now. So now we have, our thing comes up, and I can click on it, and we have these. I've still got a player there I gotta get rid of. And as you see now, I can type in, and I'm going to join that game, or I can type in create a game, or join random. And if I try to join, ultimately really nothing's going to happen. I could probably bring up some sort of message here saying failed or something, but if I click it, you'll see if I go back into the UI control that we are still here, because it goes and comes right back, because it doesn't exist. Right, and if I create a game, it just goes. right? And it's essentially, it should be trying to create a game. It's not going to, because we don't, well, I mean, it is creating a game, but there's no scene or nothing actually happens. We have to build that still. All right, so that's working. I'm gonna get rid of him before he annoys me. So we should be able to swap our characters back and forth though. If I go on him, I should get a back button, right? I think I should have a back button because I want to go back and select a different character. So let's add that. Let's add another button. I'll turn this window on so we can see it. I'm just going to duplicate this one, and he's going to be a back. Change his text to back. Now let's, of course, move him. And let's, I don't know, stick him here maybe. And so now we have another button. So if we hit that button, we need a fourth button. Ba-doop. We hit the back button. What do we want to happen? We want to go back. So let's go back, and I could probably just go whoop right back up there, and that should work. Might have to stick one more little piece of information in there, but we will see. Okay, we go back. Oh yeah, see, we hit the back. We have to, on that start, we need to hide this stuff. Right, we had the player clone still. We have to destroy him. So let's do that. So when we get into here, I guess here, we activate the holder. Let's make sure we deactivate the pun window. And while we're at it, we might as well deactivate the customization window, because we don't need either of those at this stage. Okay, the other thing is we have to destroy the player, right? So we're under load. The other thing we want to do is destroy object. Actually, no, what? If we don't have an object, we should probably test it. So let's slide that right into here. Let's do is null. So if the created player is null, then everything's okay. If it's not null, then we're going to destroy it. Right, so now we do, it's okay. Just continue on. And where is my destroy it? Destroy it. And if that's the case, we come over here. Now we destroy our created player, and then come down here. Okay. So now we got that. We can see it. We can go back. Choose a different guy. Go back. There we go. Back and forth. Everything works. Okay. Great. That's working. Now we could add in some settings and stuff like that. I'm not going to worry about that for now. I wonder if I even have any music. Have any good audio clips? Probably not. I have a village theme. Oh my god. Alright, well, we won't deal with that for now then. We'll deal with that later. So the other thing we want to do now is we want to start building our character. So let's go here. And let's save this as our Fortnite scene. I don't know why I'm calling it Fortnite. I mean, it's not really Fortnite, but close enough, I suppose. So I am going to create probably a big old plane. This can be our ground. Make it by like, I don't know, 20 by 20. Let's come out of there. So there we have, and I'll put it at 0 as well. I should always kind of 0 things off. So there we have our real basic ground. So more importantly, what we need to do before we really kind of get into it though is build a player. That's not the right player. That's from another tutorial. Where did I put that player? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's like the same scene. Alright, I guess the other thing I can do is build settings. Let's take those out. Add this one, so it's now 0. And where did I put that player? That guy right there. Pun character creation. So I have to move him because he's got to go in the resources. There's already a player here, so I'm going to name this other. There's our player. All right. Now let's open the scene and go to our Fortnite scene, save all that, and grab our player, bring him out, stick him down. Okay. So I think by default, well, no. So we need, well, a camera. For starters, I might as well use this one. And let's build something like that and build another. Take this camera, add FSM. Let's get a vector 3 offset. And we need a player. We also could probably use a aim. Alright, I'm going to stick these down here so that we can play with these without coming into here. And we want to transform point of our player. Or no, I want inverse. Sorry. Get rid of that one. Of our player to our offset. Store as set position. Every frame and set position of ourselves to set position every frame world space in the late update. All right, so first thing we'll do is I'm going to just hit play and let's, okay, I guess first thing we'll actually do is tell it that this is the player. Now we'll hit play. All right, so the camera's like right at his feet, right? Well, obviously we don't want that. That's crappy. So the main offset, let's move it up and let's move it back. And I'm going to bring it over to the shoulder position just a tiny bit. 0.2 is probably fine. Let's go to, no, 1.6. No, 1.8. Come back. Let's go 3.5. Take that up a bit. There we go. That probably looks not too bad. So 0.5, 2.25, negative 3.5. 0.5, 2.25, negative 3.5. The other thing this guy wants to do is look at. He also wants to, oh, you know what? I messed that up. Okay, I'm going to create a camera system. And I'm actually going to move that up to roughly that shoulder. There we go. Now the camera is going to use that shoulder. Well, no, I guess the following he could still, and no, I better not. I better just use the shoulder and call it good. Alright, now we want to look at the player, which is actually that shoulder. Don't worry about the vertical. And that's good. Alright, so now we might have to alright, so here we have to adjust things. Alright, so let's go and adjust that now. 0.5 I think is fine. Oh, not 30. Alright, so we want probably actually 3s. And then I think the other thing we want to get is, I'm going to get another one of these. Transform before. And we want a look offset. And that's going to store as set look offset. Alright, so now I'm not going to look at the player. I'm going to look at our look offset. I think that will help us out. I forgot to put it in this frickin' inspector. Lower 100. So let's do that. Look offset. Ba-doop. Alright, because now we're going to use that. Kind of like the same thing as our movement. Right, so our look offset now is a little bit different. Right, so now we can say adjust that so we're more over the side maybe. And maybe put that down there. But then adjust all this stuff. Right. Something like that. So let's just round these out. 1.8, 3.5, 0.75. You know what, that might almost be too far on that. Alright, so 0.5, 1.8. Alright, so now what do we have? So we still got to bring that up. It's almost good at a 4. I almost like that better. A 1 and a 0.9 and a 4. There we go. All right, because now if I want to, say when I'm moving the mouse or whatever, see, I can just rotate this thing. And you know what we should also do then? The look offset, I'm also going to put this out there farther. I wonder, I might have to adjust it some more, but that might help with that rotation. Oh, I think that's too far. All right, so there, now we have that. Kind of how that works. All right, so that works. We'll just put that down to 1, not 5. Now we have a bit of a looking system. Right now, with that, I'll show you how we do the zoom. Let's make a little bit of a thing for us and create a UI image. Call this our aimer. Let's see what we have that will look like an aimer that we can use. The pun symbol. It's almost comical. Could have sworn I brought in some stuff, but maybe it was a different project. All right, well, for now, I'll put this in. I'll find something a little later, but at least that will help us for now. All right, so the other thing we now want is camera. So let's say get mouse button, not down, just I'm going to get the mouse button, and this is, we're going to call it aim. It's going to be the right mouse button, and bool test. Put that down to the bottom. Aim, and if true, we need to aim. And I'm going to do the same thing for now, only this is now stop aim. So when we're aiming though, what we need to do is I'm going to create some more, right? We now want to I'll hide these for a second here. So we want to use the aim offset. So now we have a set position, but we also want to get position, I guess, to start off with. Let's put that to the very top. Start position. This one's not every frame. but the aim offset is. And we are going to vector 3 interpolate. In a linear fashion, we want to go from start position to aim offset, and probably not that slow, fast. And we will take, oh no, we're not going to, we're going to the set position. We want to go this one. That's being created from our aim offset, which we still have to build, by the way. And then that will be our set position. You know what? I should probably name that differently. All right, so our aim offset, let's just give that a little bit of a default value. Roughly, it'll be something like that. And that's going to be to the set position, from start position to set position. I guess I can store that into set position. That might work. So again, we want to do the same thing when we're over here. We want a start position, and we want to interpolate as well, because you have to be able to go back and forth. And we want to go to set position from the start position, and let's move this up here. All right, let's see what that looks like. So my aim might be a little, yeah, my aim is definitely weird. All right, so let's look at, all right, because it still wants to look at that thing. So we want, I'm going to try to match that actually up a bit, and I'm going to keep that one at 0, and then I'm going to take a vector 3, and it's going to be the aim look offset. So right now our look offset is there, and we can probably do, probably doesn't need to be as high, but maybe out farther and point. I'm going to try that for now. And of course I didn't put any of the coding in to go with that. Right, so that's closer. You can definitely speed that up. Okay, I'm going to, for now, get rid of this, go into here. So now let's adjust this a bit. So we're going to want to come back, say roughly -1 so far, and probably 3.2. Oh, this is on the aim offset. I thought it was on the look offset. That's almost funny. All right, so 0.75, 3.2, -1. All right, so there. The aim Oh, yeah, that is the aim offset. So the aim look, actually it might not be too bad, just the way that is. I mean, speed wise it needs to speed up, that's a given, right? Obviously point or half a second is too long. It feels slow. I mean, half a second is pretty freaking quick, but still it feels slow. There we go. Right now, so there's that. Now, the other thing we want to do is, that's on our camera. That's probably good. Let's just call that aim, and I guess it's aim and follow, but and this one I am going to, I might just, you know what, no, get axes. I'm going to get mouse Y, and that will be the Y. Actually, I don't know, mouse look might work well for this, actually. With maybe a sensitivity here of 0. Close those. And we want to use it on this. See how that feels anyways. See, now it's only going to go up and down, but it's backwards, oh. I thought it would be fine like that. It's not bad. Maybe a 6. All right. Don't worry about those being red. We can always fix that later. So we also want for this guy to have movement, and I am going to put a character controller on him. It's just, they're so easy to use. Okay, so get axes vector. So there's Hadoop, and we want a vector, and we want to simple move to this vector, and we can do, let's do like a 3.5 for now, and that can be space self. And now we will get axes as well. Mouse X. We'll just call this mouse X. It'll need like a massive multiplier. And rotate on the Y angle by mouse X, space, every frame. That should be okay. Let's see. Why isn't our mouse following? Or why isn't our camera following, I should say. So, did I not put that to every frame? wonder if I'm having issues because of the late update. Let's take that off for now. Let's see if that's causing it. I'm finding that very weird. So we get position. Start camera system. It's offset. We get the set position. Wait a minute. I wonder if I did mess that up. I wonder. Let's transform point. Oh, I did use the wrong one. So silly. So silly. Alright, so I'll replace those. So here we have player offset and set position, right? So exact same thing. Player offset set position. Every frame, get rid of that one. We need another one because, well, it's going to have to go that way. And this one's player, the look offset, and set look offset. And get rid of that one. And now, I have to do the other side as well, but, alright, so now, yeah, it's following now. Alright. So now we got to do the same thing over here. Well, I should probably do the look, right? The look offset. Set look offset. That's not even using the right one. And over here, okay, so let's take that, copy that, bring it over here, paste it before this. So player, and then we're using aim offset and set position. Get rid of that. Copy. Paste before. Look offset. Set look offset. Make sure this one's using the right one. Set look offset. Oh yeah. That's better. But we're sitting way too high now. Kind of curious about that. So let's go 1.8 and 2. All right, so 1 and 1.5 there. Let's do the aim. All right, so the aim here. I bet you this guy's going to be down a fair bit. let's go 0.5, 0.25, -2. Yeah, I think that'll work. I think that will work. So the other thing we want to do with this guy is we want to, you know what, I can probably do it in here. So let's first check these, right? Because we can go down there, we can go up there. Is that good enough, or do we want to bring that, right? Because I mean, that's obviously not nearly far enough. You know, maybe -70, and then probably 70 on the plus. Probably good enough there. And then let's set rotation on this guy, the Z. We want him to be 0. We always want that to be 0. Regardless of anything that ever is going to happen, we want him to be 0. All right, that feels much better. Feels much better. Okay, so the other thing the camera needs is we get to add more to this, because why not? Is a camera FOV. Let's move it to the top. So if we look at our camera, right now we're at 60. And if we bring it down to say 30, it's like we're zooming in. So we also want a float interplate. So we're going to go from a variable called FOV to 60, and we'll also go 0.25 seconds, store into FOV. And we're going to set that to FOV. Copy that, bring that over here, paste it before, and same idea, but now we're going to say go to 30. Oh. Now with that said, we might want to pull this back a little. Actually, I wonder if we can just go there. That probably is okay. Alright, so the other thing we want to do is I think these look offsets. I'm going to try to match them up. I want to see if that changes anything. Alright, so let's bring that back over here, bring that one over here. let's bring that. I think 0.4 will be fine for that. Well, that's why I have to look. Uh-oh. What did I just do? Those are the ones I meant to match up. Aim, look, offset. See, there's that little bit of a hop. So I think that's starting to feel better. That's getting way too far out there. But you know, 1 feels pretty good. Maybe I can go 0.75. And then in here, take that down to say 20. Which we'll have to change that later on for when we bring in different guns, right? If you have a sniper rifle or something. Well, there's different ways to do that, so we can do that too. So let's create. How long has this video been going on for? Let's figure that part out first. Just about an hour, so we should almost wrap this up. So let's call this player. And of course, give the player that, take off root motion. The other thing I noticed was my capsule collider is just right loopy. So let's change that. Go with something like, you know what, I'm gonna bring this down. Because I don't care about body shots so much. But being this style of game, you're gonna want headshots, right? So I'm gonna use a capsule collider for nearly everything, but we're gonna add another special collider just for headshots. And thin it down, so now we got that. And now we have movement, right? So we have we got those, we got the moves. You know what, I should almost get rid of this. Get axis and use 2 of those. I think that would be a better option, right? Because we have horizontal and we have vertical, and we want those both. And I could just extract those, I guess, from the vector here. Really no different. And maybe that, I don't know, maybe that's a better way to go about it. I don't know. Get vector 3 XYZ. Let's bring that down here. Put it below. From the V, we want X. We want Z every frame. I guess there are no animator things in here yet, so let's add them. Let's do horizontal, and let's do vertical, and now there we go. Now we can add those. So set animator float, need 2 of those. We want horizontal, and it can be X, and we want vertical, and it can be Z. You can bring in damp times too. I'm not worried about it right now. And for now, I am going to create a blend tree. And in this blend tree, we want 2D Cartesian. Let's do vertical. For now, I'm just going to throw these in here because we're already at an hour. Well, I just want to see how this looks like just in a basic sense, I guess you could say. So what do we have? We have an idle, and we need a strafe left and a strafe right and a walk backwards and a walk forward. Okay, so walk forward, we need 1 on that. Walk backwards, we need -1 on that. Strafe right, we want 1 there. Strafe left, we want -1 there. All right. So now we have that is inverse. I knew I wasn't crazy. Well, maybe I am crazy, but that's not the point. You know, it almost feels a little sensitive. I'm going to bring that back down to 5. And just for reference of speed and distance, I'm going to create a cube. Or a couple cubes or something, I don't know. Just so we can have some reference of what's around us and how fast we're moving. I should really put that on maximize speed or maximize view. The rotation on the mouse left and right is so slow. And put that to the late update and get. I'm taking him up to like 300. Even 300 feels slow. So I'm going to take that up even higher. I mean, I think ultimately with this style of game, like, you want it pretty quick, right? Like, you don't want it slow and crappy. All right, so that's looking better. And one of the other things I got to do is do an animation or whatever, so that the character's actually looking up and down, not just us rotating something. And of course do a few, like a sprint and stuff. And probably a jump. but it's starting to look better. Like I said, we have to build them out so we can actually use them, and then we got to put the pun stuff to them after, and then we can actually start building this level out and go back to the main scene, create game, and poof, off we go. Wow. So, I mean, there's still a ton of stuff to do, obviously. It's not a small, simple process, that's for sure. But anyways, there's a start, anyways, of our camera and our movement system for our player with some touch-ups to our UI. I'm going to download or install a few more things into maybe my normal movement animation. Obviously some sprites, some aiming sprites and stuff, so I'm not using this pun thing. But anyways, we'll talk to you in the next video.